Good evening everyone, and welcome to my balcony in beautiful South India in Kerala. And as you can see, the sun is setting, and it's a very powerful time when the sun either rises or the sun sets, as there's a conjunction happening. And this is why it's really important to do your sadhana either first thing in the morning or in the evening, because the energy is not so fiery. You don't want to be practicing when there's too much energy in the air, as this is pitta. But in the morning and in the evening, a conjunction occurs where there's a start of something new or the end of something taking place. So hopefully you can all see this well. I know I'm still working on my camera quality, but today I wanted to really touch up on one of the most important asanas from Ashtanga, which is Trikonasana. Trikonasana is really important, and revolve Trikonasana, as again there's a conjunction that happens within these asanas, where at the base of the spine in yoga philosophy we have not only Kundalini energy, which a lot of people are talking about, especially within the new age spiritual or hippie kind of communities, but really back before Kundalini, and what a lot of people forget to mention is that we have something called a granthi at the base of the spine. A granthi is considered a knot, and when this knot is released, then Kundalini awakens, and Kundalini is a serpent that is asleep. So you can imagine that she's coiled up right here, and if we're holding on to a lot of trauma, a lot of repression, then Kundalini cannot spiral up the spine. It actually states within the Hatha Yoga Pradipika that if a man gets a stick and beats a snake, then what happens when he beats the snake is the snake becomes super stiff. And it's exactly the same thing when you start to beat that granthi on the lower back using asana. The snake beats itself up, it wakes itself up, it goes stiff, and then it shoots itself all the way up the spine, up one of the central nadis, which is called Sushumna. Sushumna is the central nervous system. In science, you can refer the central nervous system to the brain and the spinal cord. And when Kundalini shoots and ascends, it pings and awakens towards your third eye. And this is when we have all of these visions, or, I cannot explain what happens. You have to experience it for yourself. So this is why alignment, a lot of modern yoga teachers are moving away from alignment and expressing themselves more with somatic. But personally, going back to the roots of the practice and going back to yoga philosophy, then alignment is super important to awaken, to release the knot, and to let the Kundalini arise. Kundalini cannot rise if you're holding on to trauma. And that's why sometimes when we're practicing so many asanas, we get emotional, pain, maybe even crying. And this is because in the subconscious layers of your body, you're holding on to memories that you do not even remember. So keep practicing, eventually they release, and then you can work more on forgiveness, acceptance, and appreciation. So Trikonasana, I'm just going to give a demonstration, is from Ashtanga, we would step back with the right leg, and then we would turn the left foot in, and we would turn the right foot out. From here, you want to kick your hips back in space. I often see a lot of people entering the pose without moving their hips. But as you can see, I kick my hips back in space. That gives me room through the hips to reach forwards and take my hand down. When my hand comes down, I will just pivot this way so you can see. When my hand comes down, my head wants to move forwards and my shoulder wants to come back. So we're not leaning forwards and we're not leaning too far back, but instead the head is actually in line with Mula and Uddiyana Bandha. We then draw that left hand up and we take the gaze up towards the sky. Now, if you're feeling a little bit on the restricted side, you can also place your hand onto a brick, or you can keep your hand onto the shin. For those of us that have been practicing, for a little bit longer and you wish to progress from this posture, then you would actually go for the full posture, which is taking the toe bind. You would again kick the hips back, reach forwards, try and keep the head in line, so over the front shin, grab your big toe and then pull. This is where a lot of people get a little stuck, because that left hip will start to knock in and we get a little bit stuck here. But you have to remember to inhale, lengthen, and then exhale to twist and rotate. You pull up on the kneecap and then you take that top hand to the sky and you take your drishti, your gaze, right up towards the fingertips. And you would hold here for 5 breaths. So practice getting that in line, and when that pose is actually activated, you can actually feel what I'm talking about in terms of the Granti and the Kundalini, because it's an experience, I can't quite describe it. Now when you're taking it into revolved Trilonasana, again, it comes directly after Trilonasana in the Ashtanga series, stepping back with the right leg, send it in. You come into a regular Trilonasana, and now this time I want to step my left foot in slightly so that my hips are directly square into the back of the room. If I'm facing this direction, you can quite clearly see that my hips are leveled towards the camera. You would take the right hand onto the lower back and lift your left hand to the sky. From here, we inhale, we reach forwards, and then we start to twist and rotate, taking that left hand either on the outside of the right shin, and again I'm going to pull my body back in space, and then I'm going to drag and take my right hand towards the sky, taking the gaze up. Again, this would look like this on the mat. Inhale, reach forwards, exhale, twist. Right hand comes to the shin. If you've been practicing a while, it comes down to the pinky toe side, and then I'm going to pull and bring my head right away in line with the navel. So I'm looking over the right shoulder. Head is in line with Mula Bandha. And again, I'm taking that top hand to the sky. I'm squeezing everything in so my body does not move. Again, 5 breaths here. So perfect timing as the sun starts to set. I really wanted to share that little moment with you with the sun, so I'm really glad that the timing was on point. Please do practice this. We get so caught up with all of these fancy postures, all of these fancy transitions, and we really forget the foundations of the pose. If a house does not have the foundation, it will crumble and it will collapse. Make sure that you do it on both sides, left and right. And you can simply, if you're already practicing on a regular basis, then you can simply add these in to your regular vinyasa flow. You can practice and bring more emphasis to them if you're practicing Ashtanga. If you are not practicing and you would like to start your journey, please drop me a message. I'm here to help you, and I have space available for one-to-one. We can break down these poses, and we can also break down your own nervous system with Ayurvedic consultations or more one-to-one tailored classes to help regulate your nervous system and whatever is going on underneath the surface of the body. Any questions at all, please ping me, okay? So dark now. So beautiful. Lots of love, everybody.